Luke chapter 12, verse 35. Somebody want to volunteer to read that one?
I'll read it.
All right, real loud.
Be prepared, all dressed and ready. For the Lord's return from the wedding feast. Then you'll be ready to open the door and let him in the moment he arrives and knocks. There will be great joy for those who are ready and waiting for his return. He himself will seize them and put on a waiter's uniform and serve them as they sit and eat. He may come at 9 o'clock at night, or even at midnight. But whenever he comes, there will be joy for his servants who are ready. Everyone would be ready for him if they knew the exact hour of his return. Just as they would be ready for him if they knew when he was coming. So be ready all the time. For I, the man of glory, will come when we expect. Keep going.
Yeah, just a little bit more.
Peter asked, Lord, are you talking just to us or to everyone? And the Lord replied, I'm talking to any faithful, simple man whose master gives him the responsibility of feeding the other servants. His master returns and finds that he has done a good job. There will be a reward. His master will put him in charge of all he owns. But if a man begins to think, my Lord won't be back for a long time, and begins to whip the men and women he is supposed to protect, and spend his time at drinking parties and in drunkenness, well, his master will return without notice and remove him from his position of trust and assign him to the place of the unfaithful. He will be severely punished for those who knew his duty he refused to do it. But anyone who is not aware that he is doing wrong will be punished only lightly. Much is required from those to whom much is given, for their responsibility is greater. I have come to bring fire to the earth.
Okay, that's good. So we're talking again, mentioned it a little bit last week, about being a servant, and talked about it with Tyler, and about him being a servant and going to Africa and helping people there. And my question is, who's called to be a servant? What was that?
We all are.
We all are? How do you know that? Because your pastor told you?
No, the scripture over and over says Jesus himself, who was Lord and King, who should be served, but he came to serve, and we should be like him.
So what does a servant look like? They got an idea what a servant looks like? Humble? What would be something a servant would do? Stack chairs. There you go. Stack chairs. Does stacking chairs take a lot of skill? So if I ask somebody to take all these chairs, stack them up in the corner back there, and sweep the floor, make it look all nice and mop it, would that be the job of a servant? Yeah. In the parable that we just got told, the master was away to a wedding feast, and he was coming back, and what happened would be the master would come home to his house, and he would expect someone to be at the door, one of his servants to be at the door waiting on him, because you know, you come home, you're tired, and you got to take the shoes off, got to put things away, probably brought a few things home, and if you have a servant, do you expect you should be doing those jobs, or do you expect that servant to be doing those jobs? You expect the servant to be doing those jobs. So when he comes home, and he shouldn't have to open the door. He should have someone else opening the door for him, and he should have someone else taking care of the packages and whatever else he's got, bring it home. Maybe they sent some meatloaf home with him from the wedding, and he's got to put it away or something. I don't know if they had meatloaf, but so he would have someone doing these jobs. Are all the jobs great and wonderful jobs? Are all Christian jobs ones with titles and PhD and pastor so-and-so, bishop whatever, and all those things. Is that what it means to be a servant? No. What it means to be a servant is doing the things that maybe nobody else wants to do, or that nobody else can do. And I had a question, and I want you to think about this real hard. Jonathan, I'm going to pick on you because you're not looking at me. Name me the last 5 Nobel Prize winners. Does anybody know what a Nobel Prize winner is? Nobel Prize means that they are like so smart their head probably wouldn't fit through that door. I mean, they are like the smartest people, and people who make peace in countries get the Nobel Prize. These are important people who change the world. Jonathan, name me the last 5 Nobel Prize winners. Name me 1 Nobel Prize winner. Did she? I don't think they give it back then. Obama actually got one. Yeah. I don't exactly know. Yeah, it was, I don't know. Anyway, so that was one. Another important prize is what's the Pulitzer Prize. Anybody ever heard of the Pulitzer Prize? Yeah. Can you name me a Pulitzer Prize winner? That would also go into books. I mean, just normal books. We have some avid readers here. Give me a Pulitzer Prize winner. Name me the top 5 books on the New York Times bestseller list right now.
Twilight.
What?
Twilight.
Well, you meant probably one of them. But aren't those all important things? If you went home and heard the news, those things would be announced. Wouldn't they? So those are important things. Tara, I want you to name me 5 people who have done something nice for you.
You and Lisa and Kelly and Georgia and my boss.
Give me something nice that they've done. Tell me something about your boss.
My boss, she is very giving, and at Christmas, gives us a wonderful bonus. Last nurses.
Yeah, that's what I'm...
Yeah, the last nurses day, she gave us all a significant gift card to go to Mauritius and go shopping, and she told us the schedule was clear for the afternoon, and she told us we do not clock out. So we got paid to go shop with a gift card that she gave us.
And what about the snack? What about the snack that one day?
Oh, yeah, she has been trying to lose weight, and so somebody told her about this cake that you can mix up and you can make in the microwave. So she was in her office, and all of a sudden here she brings this all out. You make it in a cup, and she brings this all out, this little cake in a cup with cream and strawberries she cut up with a spoon in it, and came and she gave us one. And I just said, how many bosses do you know that would make cakes for all her employees and bring them out for...
Yes. And in that, she was the boss, but she was serving her employees. Taylor, have 5 people been nice to you in your life? No? Can you name one person and something nice that they did for you? What did your mommy do for you? And she served you. She got you your drinks and all that kind of stuff. Yes, ma'am.
Yesterday, people threw me in the side Star Trek birthday party. And that was way more than 5 minutes.
You know, sometimes things don't seem important. Things like that. I remember 2.5, going on 3 years ago, people threw me a party. And it was my 40th, right? Okay. And I was feeling very low, feeling very unloved, unwanted, and was really ticked off that I was having to go to this place to do this thing that I didn't want to do, being very unservant-like. And I got there, and all the people were there for me. And whether that looked like serving to anybody else, it was serving to me. It helped me from where I was to feel better about myself. And so in the end, they served me. They helped me through things. And so serving, I got some little quotes here, and I thought they were really cool. If you want happiness, here's some good advice for you. If you want happiness, for an hour, take a nap. If you want happiness for a day, go fishing. If you want happiness for a month, get married. It's somebody else. But people are really happy for a month. After that, like I told my kids the other day, the first year, 2 years are very, very difficult in a marriage. Very. If you want to be happy for a year, inherit a fortune, because you'll spend that fortune in a year. If you want happiness for a lifetime, serve others. That's the way God's world works. He says if you want to gain your life, you lose it. If you want more, give it away. It doesn't make sense to this world, to the way this world works, but it works in God's world. It works in God's world. Where's the other section here? Selfishness is when we pursue gain at others' expense. But God doesn't have a limited number of treasures to distribute. When you store up treasures for yourself in heaven, it doesn't reduce the treasures available to others. In fact, it is by serving God and others that we store up heavenly treasures. Everybody gains, and no one loses. Here's one. This one is really cool. This is from Martin Luther King Jr. First question which the priest and the Levite asked. We all remember the story of the Good Samaritan, where they're walking along, and the priest walks by, and the guy's laying on the ground all beat up and bloody and hurt. The priest walks by, doesn't help. The Levite walks by, doesn't help. Samaritan, person of a different religion, a different home, helps him. So the first question the priest and the Levite ask is, if I stop and help this man, what will happen to me? But the Good Samaritan reversed the question. If I do not stop and help this man, what will happen to him? You get that? The priest and the Levite, the two religious folk, asked the question, if I stop, I could be the next guy laying on the ground with no clothes, beat up, and bloody. But the Samaritan's question, the non-Jew, his question was, what happens to this guy if I don't stop? He could lay there and die. So the one is serving the Samaritan, or serving the hurt man. The other ones are serving themselves. Who got mentioned in a good light in a Jesus story? The Samaritan. Here's John Adams. Good question. We were saying, name some famous people. Name me 5 presidents? Other than you, Julia.
Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, and Jackson.
Okay, all right. Here's from one of those you just mentioned, John Adams. If we do not lay out ourselves in service of mankind, whom shall we serve? So if we don't serve others, who are we serving? Ourselves. And if we serve ourselves, as someone who's served himself for quite a number of years, do you think serving yourself makes you happy in the end? Makes you depressed. Yeah. Do you know why so many people are depressed? They're not getting all the things that they want. I want this, I want that, and I want that, and I'm not getting it. It's not necessarily I want a new car. It's I want a happy life. I want people to love me. I want this, and we're not getting it. So then we feel bad about ourselves. But what is a better way to feel better about yourself is if you help someone, their view of you has just went from one of going, just think about this. People who are depressed, this would be a good picture of someone depressed. What do you automatically think of that person? Do you want, the first thought is, man, I want to bring that person home and have a good conversation because they look like a good time. Is that what you think when somebody... No, you think, But if that same person met you at a door and helped you with something, saw that you needed something and gave that thing to you, how would you feel about that person then? You'd say, oh, they're so nice, they're so wonderful. And you'd have a smile for them. The person sitting over there like that, are you going to have a smile probably for that person? You're probably going to go, does that make any sense to anybody? Or are you looking at me like I'm stupid? I can't figure it out. Does it make any sense? But when we start feeling that way, we think if I just had a chocolate sundae, it'd all be okay. It won't. How long does that chocolate sundae will make you happy for maybe 5 minutes, and then you go, man, I wish I would have got an extra large one. When it's gone because it disappears, you go, man, I wish I had some more. Yeah, this tastes awful. They don't know how to do this at DQ. I should have went to Casey. But all those little things that we try and fill ourselves up with don't really fill us up. Because an hour later, the next day, we're still in the same situation. We still feel the same way because our situation hasn't changed. We just tried to fill something up, and then it disappeared. But you know, if you do something nice to someone, how long have you remembered those different things you mentioned about your boss? Do they affect how you treat your boss? So the boss now has someone who has a smile for them probably all the time, even when they're in a bad mood. And will be ready to do something for that boss because they did this thing for him. If the boss was mean all the time, you act differently towards that boss. You only give as much as you have to sometimes in that case. The Bible says, Matthew 6:24, no one can serve two masters. For either he will hate one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money. My question would be, is it the same way for self? Can you serve God and self? Either you're worried about what God wants, or you're worried about what you want. And when we're worried about what we want, and we go about getting it, it never makes us happy. It'll make us happy for a short time. That's what Moses figured out. It says in Hebrews that here he was. He could have went with the Pharaoh and been ruler over the world alongside Pharaoh, or he could have went with his people who were poor and slaves. And it says that sin was fun for a little while. Being with the Pharaoh and being in power was fun for a little while, but eventually it didn't satisfy anymore. So he went to live with the slaves. And what did he do? He served those slaves. He got those slaves free. Instead of sitting going, "Oh, poor Moses. I'm alone in the desert. Oh." He went and helped a family. The first thing that happened is he's there, he's worn out, laying by a well, and bad guys are bullying a bunch of girls, and he goes and stands up for the girls. And he serves those girls by being their protector. So he does that, and he finds a home instead of living in the dirt. He gets to live in a tent. He finds a wife. He has children. He finds a job. All because he did one act of kindness. Protecting someone. Being kind can change things very quickly. Our world today has a new word for it called, or new phrase for it, paying it forward. Got a movie about it. They talk about it. You're paying it forward. You're doing this nice for someone. And the reason is it works. Biblical principles work even if you don't follow Jesus. You need to follow Jesus. But these things work even if you're not. That's why people sometimes see it and take a hold of it. Let me read you some other sections about being a servant. Whoever serves me must follow me. Where I am, my servant will also be. My Father will honor the one who serves me. That's Jesus talking. It says, whoever serves me is going to be following me. And if you follow me, you're going to be where I am. And where is he? He's in heaven. In the perfect place. I tell you the truth, no servant is greater than his master, nor is the messenger greater than the one who sent him. So you're not greater than Jesus, but you're going to be with him. Acts 26:16. Now get up and stand on your feet. I have appeared to you to appoint you as a servant and as a witness of those who have seen me and what I will show you. I will rescue you from your own people and from the Gentiles. I will send you to open their eyes, to pull them out of the darkness, to set them free from the power of Satan. I will have forgiveness of sins, and you will be sanctified. They will be sanctified. That's Jesus talking to Paul. He's calling him to be his servant. And all these great and wonderful things will happen when he does that. What was Paul going to do? When this happened to Paul, and he's on his horse, and he gets knocked off his horse, and sees a bright light, what was he going to do? What? What else was he going to do with those Christians? What did he do around Stephen? Kill them. Okay, so he's going from the place of he's ready to kill people and throw people in jail. Or he becomes the servant and he rescues people, opening their eyes, turning them from darkness to light, from the power of Satan to God, getting forgiveness of sins for people. Those are the two choices he had. Be a murderer or be a savior. I have all kinds of quotes here, and I'm not going to sit here for hours reading you quotes, but I'll lay them up here if anybody wants to check them out or take them home or whatever. And the wind will take them away and blow them everywhere. I tried to sing this song last week, but me and my memory couldn't remember all the words. But I wrote this song several years ago. But it became much more important to me when I went to Mexico. And I had a talk with all these teenagers before we went into Mexico. And I said, what I want you to do today is I want you to look for Jesus. And they all looked at me kind of strange, because in Mexico it'd be Jesus. But look for Jesus. And I went over the parable where it talks about you're going and you've fed people, you've clothed people, you've done these good things for people, and then Jesus tells you that was me that you did that for. So I told him as we went into Mexico, I want you to look for Jesus. I want you to look for Jesus today. I want you to look not where you go through your life going, I want them to give me this. I want this. I need this. Take time and look for someone that you can do something for. The same way, Taylor, you mentioned your mom helping you when you were sick. That's something that is stuck in your mind, and you're thankful for that. And the next time you're ticked off at your mom, you can go, okay, she did help me when I was sick. And that changed your view maybe a little bit of your mom, because she might have been yelling at you the day before, and then she's helping you. And you can do that for someone else. We can do that for someone else. That doesn't mean we will do something for someone else. We can go right ahead, out the door, and we can do whatever we want to do. But it's as simple as helping when someone's sick, doing what I see. My daughter has the job of doing laundry. And she gets paid for doing that job. But sometimes on my wife's day off, she will do laundry. And I said to her, I pay her to do that. Don't do her job. But she wants to be nice to her daughter and do a good deed for her. It's as simple as that. When it's somebody else's job, you go ahead and do it for them because you care about them. And that can be one of a million different things. It doesn't have to be, serving the Lord doesn't have to be some big thing. It can be very small things. What's the quote you always remember about if you have to use words?
Gospel and if necessary.
Say that again.
Preach the gospel and if necessary.
And that was St. Francis of Assisi. And what he did was he would go and he served these lepers, people who were dying. And he provided food for them, did all this stuff for them. And his view was, I am sharing the gospel. I am sharing, giving help to needy people. And he says, if I have to, I'll use words. But you know what? A lot of times, actions speak louder than words. So sometimes you won't remember all the things that were said on a Sunday morning, like this morning. But you will remember if somebody does something nice for you and the reason they did it.